What's up, brewskis? What's up? You know, I kind of like the cold open from last week. We did we just kind of.
Oh yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yeah, it was fun.
Started conversation.
Yeah, we just went right in.
Yeah.
Well, we can't do that.
Too bad.
I already said what's up, brewskis.
Too
They
bad.
already know that. They already know that we know.
Right.
That they're here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
They know that we know
that
they know. We're here.
My name is Marco Dupa, and that is Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
What is up, brewskis?
Tonight's brew is from our good friends at the Cigar City Brewing. Their Cosmic Crown. Thank you, sir.
Of course.
And Obi's going to have a little bit more about that after the break. What's on tap, brother, man?
Well, we've done you a disservice. I'm sorry, everyone. We haven't kept up with The Last of Us. So we're definitely going to have to talk about episode 2 and 3 in this episode, and we'll continue moving forward.
What is being heralded as one of the greatest episodes of TV of all time.
I've heard that. You'll get our opinion.
We also have James Gunn, co-CEO of DC Studios, finally mapping out his 8 to 10 year plan, quote unquote. And we're just gonna run through everything that he said. Quick little 5-minute video, so we're gonna go through that.
Sure.
And then one last thing.
Well, Netflix is on everyone's crap list after making people unable to stay on your list.
Nice.
Yeah. Apparently, they see it fit to no longer allow users to share their logins. So,
and we finally got the details
Right.
of what they're gonna do.
we have touched on this before, but it's official. We have more deets, so we'll be getting into that as well.
All that and probably nothing else here on the episode 380 of the One Beer In podcast. Hit it again.
To be found by someone to save you when you're down. Yes, I'm bored when it's bright out. So bored when it's bright out. 4 to 5 a.m. takes me to a place where I
I get that a lot.
Right?
My girlfriend's not
Right?
looking at me.
He's good, right?
Okay. Thank you.
Ugh, God. How bad are you? She just said it like that.
No comment.
Oh, he's really good. He's really good. He's as good as DJ Khaled.
Hey, he doesn't even try.
Yeah, that's the...
Anyway, to the beer.
To the beer.
To the beer.
To the beer. To the beer.
We have the Cigar City Cosmic Crown Belgian style strong golden ale.
Golden ale.
And we finally, at long last, have a cold read on the can.
Hey.
It goes as follows. Instead of searching for gold hidden among our galaxy, we've brought galaxy hops to this strong golden-hued Belgian-style ale to add notes of passion fruit and peach to the profile, making the beer out of this world and fit for a king. This comes in at a 9% ABV, so a hefty boy. It's brewed with galaxy hops and Belgian yeast.
All right. Well, this is the One Beer In podcast where two brews crack open a brew and see where that one brew takes us. Excuse me. I'm going to cry about it.
Oh, no.
So let's get ripping and rocking and rolling right on into the episode. As Obi stated before, we're going to try to keep up with giving our mini review of The Last of Us. We missed episode 2. We're on to episode 3. So this week we'll do 2 and 3. Catch you guys up on our feelings on the episode. So right here is your spoiler warning.
Yes.
All right.
Skip.
We are going to be spoiling the episode.
Skip if you need to.
Both episodes.
Yeah.
2 and
2
3.
and 3.
So, yeah.
You've been warned.
Move right along.
Right.
All right. So, episode 2. This was the episode where they make it to the
we start in Jakarta.
Jakarta.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
right.
have. Remember now, we're having these cold opens that are kind of flashbacks to sort of the pre-outbreak world and the outbreak as it happens in real time.
Yeah.
Very cool, creepy scene.
That was amazing.
This episode, I should say, is called Infected. It was directed by none other than Neil Druckmann, director of the video game. Pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it opens with Jakarta. A scientist is pulled away from her lunch, very unfortunately, and it really bothers me when people are eating on shows and like they suddenly have to get up and leave their food. You know, like
yeah, I get it, man.
It sucks.
It's a travesty.
Yeah, but lo and behold, she's pulled away not because she's in trouble with the law, but because the military needs her help to figure out what is going on. You know, of course, it's unveiled that this infection has begun, and it seems like Jakarta is ground zero for it. Her theory on it is that it's going through the the wheat or flour plant.
I don't think she has a theory.
Okay,
I don't think we find that out.
We must find that out later.
We find that out later.
Well, I know Joel talks about it in episode 3.
Yeah, I don't think she. If I'm remembering correctly, we don't talk about that part. We find out that it was at a factory where they make wheat and things like that. Well, they don't make wheat, but processed wheat.
Yeah.
But that she doesn't theorize that that's how it's spreading.
Yeah, and it she does an autopsy. We have, of course, a cool horror style autopsy scene.
Very cool.
And she's immediately like affected. But I think what makes this scene work is that there's a lot unsaid, but you can just tell by her reaction how serious this thing is, because when asked what can they do to stop the spread, she says, bomb everything, bomb everyone, that's it. And then asks to be taken back home so she has a little bit more time with her family.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Grim. Yeah. Very grim, but also very affecting.
Such a smart way to go about that. Like, she doesn't offer solutions. She's like, listen, if you don't contain this, because the bomb everything approach is not novel, but it's always the last approach, right? It's always like
last
the military is like, this is what we need to do. Then there's always like some scientist or some like, the hero of the story who's like, we don't have to do that. We can save people, blah, blah, blah. But she's like, that there is no last resort. That's the only resort.
It's done. Yeah.
I really like that. Really like subverting the whole trope of the bomb the city thing.
Sure. And that being like a bad thing.
Yeah. Because she's like, it's
the only option we got. Yeah. To save humanity, literally. But yeah, so we get that flashback. I like that we had a little seed planted for us in episode 1, where on the news you hear about something happening in Jakarta.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was very smart too.
I do like also that people in episode 1 were smart about pointing out the fact that they narrowly miss eating things with wheat the entire episode, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm glad somebody figured that out before it was spelled out in episode 3. I think that shows that like they did enough to let people know. Yeah,
like there were enough hints. Attention. Yeah, which is my favorite thing about well-written twists is if you can go back and watch it and go, oh, if I just paid attention, I would have got it.
Right.
One of my least favorite things is a movie that ends with a twist and then it's like, that fucking came out of nowhere. Like,
how would I have known that?
Yeah. This is off topic, on topic, whatever. But the album B from Common, one of the great like comeback albums of all time.
R.I.P. Kanye West.
Huh?
R.I.P. Kanye West.
R.I.P. Kanye West. Yeah. I mean, man, if he was still around,
if only
we'd be able to sing his praises. But he's not. So the album. In the middle of the album, there's a song called, I think it's called Testify.
Yeah.
And he tells this story, and it's a really well-written like story of a mob boss or a crime boss who's being taken in. He's about to lose his freedom and everything like that. And his wife is the one who is testifying, and she's heartbroken and everything. And Common's like explaining the street life and all this stuff. Yada, yada, yada. You get to the end of the song, and you turn around and you find out that the wife was the one who did everything that he's being accused of, that she was the actual boss the whole time.
Spoiler.
And I know Spoiler, yeah, right.
For a 3-minute song. Yeah.
I know that it's hard to drop hints in a 3-minute song.
Sure.
Then just don't do it.
Yeah.
Because people, I remember when the album came out and everyone was like, "Oh man," and Testify. When it came out, and to this day,
Yeah.
it is my least favorite song on that album because it's just such an insulting twist. And I know it's not like he's not trying to be. I'm taking it way too serious.
Sure,
I know that for sure.
But as you would, as a fan.
Yeah,
You know.
And I'm like, nah, fuck you. You know, fuck you.
That was cheap.
Yeah, it was cheap. That's
Yeah.
that's what it is. It's cheap. It's
Yeah.
cheap. I don't like it.
Yeah.
All right, just had to get that off my chest.
Okay, good. I'm glad we got there. Anyway, at this point in the story, Ellie, Joel, and Tess are making their way to the Firefly encampment or meetup spot, I should say. We get more and more hints about danger being close and them kind of just being on the cusp of getting into some deep doo-doo.
Yeah.
And
Dookie.
some deep dookie. And well, I mean, there's no way to jump around this, but this is the episode, if you've played the games, in which Tess dies, sacrifices herself.
Yeah.
So they eventually get up. Well, it's revealed at the end of episode 1 that Ellie's been bit. They still don't trust her
Yeah.
to not turn, but clearly something's different here. They make their way, long story short, to the meetup spot. Everyone's dead.
Well, also, this is the episode where we get our clicker scene. The first. Yeah.
Yes. That's before that.
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, yeah, no, you're right. I put those two because the clicker scene is such a climactic event.
Yeah.
I thought it came after. You're right. So they're making their way through Boston. They get into a museum, which is a very iconic scene from the game itself. And we meet our first clicker. It is terrifying. We figure out the whole new lore of the TV show where all the infected are linked by this, neural network.
Yeah. A hive mind.
A hive mind. So if you step on actual live fungus, it can alert other clickers and other infected nearby. So that's a change, but interesting because we've gone away from the spore thing in the game. So that ratchets up the tension a bit. And then we're faced with clickers for the first time, and I mean they're straight out of the video game. It looks incredible. It sounds great. It's very tense, very scary. What'd you think of how they depicted it?
It was amazing. I thought the using practical effects and practical makeup and everything instead of CG.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know how much it cost them to do that, but it was so worth whatever money that they put down for that because it's so visceral, so violent, and it's the one scene where they're getting chased throughout the museum and the one jumps over the thing and tackles Joel. It's just it's just you can tell that if it was CG, it would just kind of feel weightless and not as scary and not as suddenly. It's such an oh shit moment in the show. Right. We're finally faced with what we know is coming, and it pays off so well.
Yeah. After lots of build up from the last episode and part of this episode, I think it paid off. Because
in the game, if I'm not mistaken, you encounter clickers, but you're mostly being pursued by the military.
Yeah.
In the first couple of hours of the game, and they changed that to where the military's not even really involved at this point. It's all just the clickers that are the infected that they're trying to get away from.
Which makes sense because the military really has no reason to be outside of the walls of the encampment they have.
Right. What is the military just patrolling infected areas outside of the QZ for what? Other than
to scrounge for supplies and stuff, which it doesn't seem like they really need.
And that there is even much left in that area.
Right. So anyway, we have that scene. They dispatch the clickers eventually. It's tough. It's tough going. They all get separated for a minute, and we finally get Joel and Ellie together alone, with Tess being off on her own for a bit. So we get a little taste at what's to come in the story.
They make it canon that when you encounter a clicker, all all rules of the game go out the window and you just start firing wildly until you hit a headshot.
Yeah.
And then you just take off running from them. That's
Yeah.
canon now.
Yeah.
Just in case you guys haven't had a playthrough of the game, just know that when that does happen to you,
It's normal. It's supposed to happen.
that's supposed to
You're
happen.
supposed to panic and flail.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they finally are able to kill them. They escape. Then they end up at the encampment they're supposed to be at, which is completely deserted other than dead bodies all on the ground.
Yeah.
They surmise that somebody got infected. They were all suspicious of each other. They shot it out, and, everyone died.
Yeah.
So like you were saying in the game at this point, the military comes in and storms the Capitol building, I think it is, in Boston.
Yeah.
Right? But in this one, that we've already established there's an entire horde of infected that are just baking in the sun, I guess. And it's really creepy looking. It's a little World War Z, where it's like an entire horde of these things like moving and being gross and creepy.
I got to talk about World War Z. Don't let me forget, because I just finally watched it the other night.
Really?
Yeah, I never watched it. I need to talk about it.
Did you read the book?
I did read the book.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
So we got to talk about that, but we'll get through this first.
Sure. So
Where the hell are you going? What, you thought I wouldn't do it? You thought I wouldn't call you out just because we're on the show?
excuse me. Our audience of one is leaving
Yeah.
because she's tired of hearing us go on about clickers. Yeah, you definitely
You'll
will
definitely
be in the shot.
1,000,000% be in the shot. So this is actually good that we acknowledged you doing this, because when somebody sees you in the background, they're not going to be like, who the fuck was that?
Can I go get it?
Yeah,
Go
go
ahead
on. Go on.
Okay.
Continue while she
You've
does
made
this.
enough of a scene.
Not
My time to
not
shine.
editing this out.
Right. So,
Time to shine.
wait a minute. You're going to get chips, and the entire rest of this episode, we're just going to hear,
No. It's Cheetos baked.
Oh,
not
yeah.
sponsored.
The best ones.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're not the best ones. They're the worst ones.
No.
50% less cheese.
Yeah, it's not as greasy as
It's nasty.
regular Cheetos.
It's just, I mean,
Nasty.
that's part of the reason you eat Cheetos.
Right.
I know, but it's it's guilt free.
Yeah, that's what they tell you.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah. All right, go on.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay.
It won't get picked up.
Yeah, okay. We'll see about that.
It'll get picked up on the camera, but not on this.
It's fine. Okay, as I was saying, everyone's dead, but turns out one of the guys on the floor is infected.
Yeah.
And so that seemingly dead body alerts the entire horde.
Yeah.
And they're on their way.
Uh-huh.
And so instead of sacrificing herself by holding off, what are they called in the game? The military.
Fedra.
Fedra. Instead of doing that, she decides to hold off the horde of infected, because she reveals she was bitten.
Yeah.
And her being bitten, her infection looks noticeably different and worse than
It's
Ellie's.
already getting bad.
Right, which shows, hey, this is real.
Yeah.
She's actually immune to it.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something to this.
Yeah.
Have some hope, Joel.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
So they finally run away, and Tess gets mouth kissed by an infected, and it is disgusting.
It's fucked up.
Yep. But she throws a bunch of explosives, a bunch of gasoline, and is finally at the very end able to light her Zippo lighter, which I don't know if you saw. It's a callback to Uncharted. It is Drake's brother's lighter.
No.
It's the same
I
lighter.
missed that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
So she blows them all up. You can tell Joel's very upset.
Yeah.
And specifically upset at Ellie. And we're left with the last shot of her alone as Joel continues to walk forward.
Yeah.
So, very, I would say, divisive as far as the change that they made and the decisions that they made as far as Tess's sacrifice. Because I've seen some people say, like, the whole infected going to infect her by kissing her in the mouth was inappropriate or too much or took them out of it. I've seen the exact opposite, saying it was really unnerving and creepy, and that's what they're going for, and that it showed if you're not fighting the infected, they won't be violent towards you.
And that's obvious. That's gonna be a plot point.
Sure.
Later, they're definitely gonna.
I
mean,
would hope so.
If they're doing if they're as good as they've been so far, they're definitely gonna bring that back.
Right. I would think that would be true, because that you can't have that with the spore situation going on, but you can without it.
Yeah.
Because if you're just staying still and an infected comes up to you and like just tries to give you the spores through its mouth or whatnot,
Yeah.
it buys you a little time, does it not?
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know.
they could have made the decision to have like the spores come through like your hand or whatever, or
That'd be cheating, though.
yeah,
They just go.
yeah. I don't think that. Yeah, and also that would cause a lot of problems with like the in show universe where like you couldn't avoid, like if all they had to do was touch you.
Oh yeah, no. You're
Yeah.
done.
And they already established that a bite will turn you.
Yeah.
So like the mouth kiss thing, I mean, it was very. I'm on the side of like, it didn't ruin the experience for me. I don't
Yeah.
know why. Some people, man, they're like, it takes me out of it, and it's like, why would they choose to do that? And it's like, because it was weird and creepy and unnerving and kind of fucked up, and it worked. It made you it made you uncomfortable. It worked.
Right.
You didn't like, I don't know. People, whatever.
Yeah.
So, respectfully, I'm going to need you to get through episode 3 a lot faster.
You know how this goes.
I know how you go.
Yeah.
And I need you to go faster.
The details matter.
No, they don't.
Okay. All right. Fine.
We
Fine.
just need a synopsis.
Okay.
so
Okay.
that we
Okay. Why didn't you say that at the beginning?
Because I don't like to interrupt you.
All right. Thank you. Okay. So, look. All right. That's where we're left with episode 2. Episode 3, the fast version. It's called Long, Long Time. And this is picking up.
Episode 2 was a long, long time.
You want me to go? Do you want me to go?
I couldn't help it. It was too good. What was I supposed to do? Let that one ride? I had to take it.
All right, fine. I respect it. Okay, Long, Long Time, in essence, is about Joel and Ellie trying to get up to Bill's, because Tess tells them to go to Bill's to get what they need to continue their travels to find the fireflies.
Yeah.
So this entire episode is about Bill and Frank. If you're a fan of the game, if you played the game, you know who Bill and Frank are. You don't see Frank, but you get to know his story. They were partners. They ended up having a falling out. Frank left, ended up getting infected, ended up killing himself before he turned. And we find this really like bitter suicide note in the game about, how Bill drove him away because he was so insular and didn't want to reach out to the outside world at all. We get some of that in this, but it ends very differently. It's much more, you get to see their romance blossom. You get to see them grow old together, actually. But it ends with a suicide, but actually it ends with both of them killing each other, or themselves, I should say. But only after living a long, I'd say reasonably happy life. And it all comes up to Ellie and Joel going to his compound and finding the note for Joel saying that, exactly what happened, that they killed themselves, and take all the guns you want from my stockpile, do whatever you need, because guys like us are only around to protect the people we love, essentially.
Yeah.
Just protect one person, just save one person, protect Tess with these guns.
Jess.
I don't know. That's the girl on the side. No, that's Joel and Tess together. That's what that is.
Yeah. That's the ship.
Yeah, it's the Jess.
Yeah.
And so obviously that affects Joel, and we find out that Ellie takes Frank's gun. We know that's going to come into play. We see earlier in the episode that Ellie is exhibiting a bit of psychopathic behavior by playing with an infected and before she kills it with her knife. And yeah, that pretty much sums us up, Marco.
There you go. See, now we can give our thoughts on it. Is that okay?
It's fine. What'd you think?
I think we're gonna be talking about this episode for a really long time. I think.
Yeah.
It was revolutionary in that I don't think that it's a small deal to talk about the fact that the majority of the episode was just watching two men fall in love and live their lives together, grow old, argue, be a normal couple, and then die together.
Yeah.
And watching gay love on TV.
And romantic gay love.
Yeah.
Not like over the top, over sexualized, fetishized. Yeah.
And also not like nuanced and vague and kind of off-screen love, but like real deal. It just was two people.
It's a love story. Yeah.
Yeah. And it really, when you watch it, it was so gay. No.
Super gay.
It was
Yeah.
gay. But no, it was fine. It was fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
It was revolutionary to see that on TV. And I think that in the context of the show and what they're trying to accomplish, it's crazy that they even felt like this is a direction that they wanted to go in with the episode.
It was so smart of them to take this opportunity.
Yeah.
Because again, in the game, you don't get any of this other than through kind of little bits and pieces here and there.
Yeah.
Letters and
I mean, even when
Frank saying things out the side of his mouth.
When I first played the game, and this will tell you just the blinders that I have to stuff like that. When he sees him, he's killed himself, and he says he was my partner. Even still, I was like, yeah, like partner in crime, like his partner, like his. I didn't take it at face
Like us.
value. Yeah, like like life partner, like us.
Yeah.
I didn't take it at face value. I really looked right past that.
Even after Ellie finds the
no.
gay
That's
porn
when
mag-
when I that and then the note.
Yeah.
Kind of put it all together, and then I was like, "Oh, he meant partner." As in like, but when he first encounters him, I was like, "Oh, okay," and just like moved right past it. They didn't even think about it. And so I think that Nick Offerman's he's just a powerhouse, man.
He's great.
He's
yeah.
so good.
Yeah,
He's so
I
good.
wish he got more dramatic roles, and I wouldn't be surprised if this gets him more.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'll tell you this. I did have a problem with the episode, and the only problem I have with it is the fact that we don't get any Ellie and Bill interactions. That sucks because they are so fun in the game.
Yeah.
So that's
It was
literally
a
my only
sacrifice.
beef with that.
Yeah, it was a sacrifice, and genuinely, it shocked me when we found out that Bill was also killing himself.
I thought for sure this was going to be a thing where
Yeah, they come in and he's still there, but
he's all fucking bummed.
that's how he gets so grizzled and dark.
Yeah.
But no.
Just a one-off.
Mm-hmm.
Just a one-off.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I again, I want to put a pin in the fact that I continue to love the stuff they change more than anything else.
Yeah.
More than seeing, even something like in episode 2, the almost completely faithfully recreated scene with the clickers in the museum. Like, that was awesome to see. It was great. But what I find more exciting is everything they're deciding to change for the sake of storytelling in this medium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That keeps me tuning in. That keeps me on the edge of my seat, not knowing what's coming next. Because they do a little bit of a fake out even in this episode too, where Bill gets shot when there's the raiders trying to get in.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's gonna die.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to after that, obviously, and they're both still alive, but suddenly Frank's in a wheelchair. And it's like,
Yeah.
wait, what happened?
Yeah, because at first I thought they were gonna do this they're going to subvert expectations by having Frank be the one who's
Right.
alive.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. I
Yep.
see where we're going with
It's
this.
the same thing that I was thinking too. We should also say Murray Bartlett as Frank is incredible.
Oh, he's
as
great.
well.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I again take my imaginary hat off to the show writers and showrunners and directors for, I guess, seeing the opportunity to make this a Last of Us story and make it feel right for the world and only enrich what they did with the game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at a point where like I hate to just mount praise on this show without having any, critical. I mean, my critical analysis of the show is that they're just fucking nailing it. Like,
Yeah.
they're so far they're just crushing it. I can't. I'm watching it each week and just going like, man, they're on a hot streak right now. Every episode so far. I agree. I think that the changes that they make to the show so far have been well worth it as far as the narrative is concerned, as far as like storytelling in a real universe as opposed to a video game. They've all been worth it. They've all made sense. I haven't seen anything that's taken me out of the show that I thought they shouldn't have done that, or it's not as good as the game. I've been able to watch the show from like a objective perspective and not have all my video game biases with it. And so far, it's just been incredible.
Yeah. And
So-
they also have Mortal Kombat 2 as the arcade cabinet and not a
Yeah,
made up
yeah.
one, which
that
is
was
nice.
sick. That was sick.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So
So
yeah, I mean the only real gripe I have is that we have to wait another week for another episode.
yeah, but it's HBO gets it. HBO gets water cooler TV.
Yeah. I've seen that big conversation happening again. And I agree as much as I hate it. Because I would love to just sit down and watch the entire thing.
Well, of course you would.
Yeah.
And the only way, one of the only streaming services that allows you to do that nowadays is Netflix. But
What?
if you are a Netflix holdout, I mean, I couldn't imagine being one of these people who would continue on with Netflix at this point.
Yeah. Who would do that?
I don't know. I mean, I guess we're gonna have to wait and see, because Netflix is now finally
I still have a Netflix account.
put out. I know you do.
Sorry. Yeah.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
They're finally now. Who are you sharing a Netflix account with? Not me.
You didn't ask.
You're right. I didn't ask.
You didn't ask.
I'm sharing it with somebody else. So.
Yeah, that's fine.
And at this point, it doesn't even matter.
Right. I mean, I share with my entire family.
Yeah, and they're about to. Well, who's paying for it is the question.
I am.
You're paying for it.
I am.
So
I'm the
they're
breadwinner.
all about to lose Netflix.
Yeah.
In March,
Right.
they're losing.
It's gone.
Netflix.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you guys didn't know, and I don't know how you couldn't, but if you're chronically online like we are, you'll know that Netflix announced months ago that they were going to do this thing with password sharing, and it shocked everyone because if you have been paying attention to Netflix for the past couple of years, like 3 or 4 years ago, their whole thing was about sharing a password.
Right.
There's literally a tweet that goes viral like every 6 months, and I retweeted it recently. That is Netflix saying sharing a password, or love is sharing a password.
Yeah.
So they themselves were an institution of sharing your
Sure.
account with people.
Sure.
They've gone back on this for a bunch of reasons. Probably, I mean, all of them financial.
The price yesterday, it's not the price today.
That's right. That's
As
right.
Fat Joe says.
Yeah. Today's price is not yesterday's price.
Same thing. I was translating from Spanish into English, and that's what I got.
Right. Yeah. It's a
yeah.
rough translation,
Sure.
but you get the idea.
Sure.
So here we are with the announced changes that they're going to make. So do you have it pulled up?
I do. I have the IGN article pulled up.
Run through the bullet points if you don't mind.
Okie dokie.
But, chop, chop.
Listen. I don't need you snapping at me, okay? I mean, I feel like the subhead says it all. Users must log in to Netflix via their primary location's Wi-Fi network once every 31 days.
That's the first and that's the biggest one.
Right.
That's a crazy thing to ask people to do.
Yeah.
Because not only is it a crazy thing to ask people to do with like families, but I mean, what if you're a person that travels? What if you're a person that doesn't have a permanent residence?
Sure.
What if, there's so many variables to that. What if you use a VPN?
Yeah.
Is it using your IP address plus your like home IP? I don't know.
I have no idea.
I'm not smart enough to understand things like that, but go on.
The company will use information such as IP addresses, device IDs, and account activity to determine whether a device signed into an account is connected to the primary location. A device may be blocked from watching Netflix if it's deemed to fall outside of the household. If you are the primary account owner and you find yourself traveling between locations, you can request a temporary code to access Netflix for 7 consecutive days. Alternatively, you can update your primary location if it is changed. Members can also transfer profile from an existing account elsewhere, allowing them to keep their personalized data on their. Oh, Jesus Christ!
Now you know how I feel every time I open up a fucking can and it just blasts all over my fucking.
Oh my
computer.
God, that was graphic.
I know.
Oh, it dripped. According to IGN, again, the plan to convert, quote, borrowers, those who are currently using Netflix accounts.
Borrowers? Ew.
Yeah.
What is so derogatory?
that are, you filthy borrower.
Borrower.
Those who are currently using Netflix accounts that are owned by separate households.
You filthy borrower.
Borrowers, or as I like to be called, those who are currently using Netflix accounts that are owned by separate households. To paid subscribers is expected to roll out by the end of March with the introduction of account sharing restrictions and extra member fees in more countries. However, with Netflix raising prices, introducing ads, and now pressing forward with plans to stop password sharing, you may be considering canceling your Netflix subscription and looking at other streaming choices. You can find those at IGN.com.
Of course you can. Yeah. Never miss an opportunity to get that traffic to their website. And it's basically just an article that has Decider on it.
Pretty much.
So here we go, kids. Netflix has finally unveiled their master plan, and I can't imagine how. I would love to know. I would love to be a fly on the wall when these executives are getting together and they're discussing like best laid plans, because obviously they're saying to themselves that this is worth all of the bad press and all of the like. They're going to get people who are going to unsubscribe.
For sure.
And they're telling themselves that it's worth it in the end.
Somebody's crunched the numbers and seen that, hypothetically now, the amount of people that are going to unsub is less than the amount of people who are going to resubscribe under maybe even like the ad version of Netflix.
Yeah. It's, to me,
I don't know if that's gonna check out, though.
I just don't. I don't get it. I don't. I think that's an insane thing to think.
Yeah,
it's just an insane thing to presume that people are going to take this news and then go like. For me personally, I'll just say it's just anecdotally. Sure. Once this happens, my homie, shout out to Brandon. He's got a Netflix account. He's got a couple of people on it. I'm on his Netflix account. Once this happens in March, guess what? I'm done with Netflix. Their content is not good enough for me to have. I'm paying for HBO.
Sure.
I'll continue to pay for HBO because that content. I just watched Oh Brother Where Art Thou, which by the way, spoiler alert for my Cheers of the week. But I just watched Oh Brother Where Art Thou again, and that movie's
it's great.
amazing.
Yeah, of course.
And where else are you gonna actually? That was on Prime. Sorry, that wasn't on HBO Max. That was on Prime.
Wow. Okay.
Still
Corporate shill.
wasn't on Netflix.
It wasn't on Netflix.
Wasn't on
Yeah,
Netflix.
yeah. That's true.
And I look at the stuff that's on Netflix, and there's like good movies and stuff on there, and there's like good shows and shit. But they just, the past like 6 months to a year has just been nothing but bad press for them.
Yeah.
Killing shows after one season.
Right.
This password sharing thing.
Not caring about
price
animation.
hikes, not caring about animation. Their ad supported tier, which is literally just a worse tier with ads. Like they've done nothing to create any goodwill.
They reverted to what Hulu has done for a long time.
Yeah. But Hulu at least,
Looks pretty.
well, that number one. And number two, Hulu is a streaming service that is like predicated on just re-showing network TV.
Sure.
It's
Hulu
almost
has live sports.
Yeah, it's almost expected that you're going to be watching ads and it's more corporate and everything. Netflix started off and has always been the alternative to things like that.
It's funny you say that because I feel the same way about Peacock. That's why I don't care that they have ads in their stuff.
Peacock
because
is- yeah.
it's like, it's fine. It's like I'm watching NBC, right? Like it's the same thing.
right.
So it doesn't bother me in that scenario. But
I'll
Netflix,
never pay for Peacock, by
no,
the way.
I don't either. You get it for free on Spectrum
Oh, that's cool.
for a while, for a
Yeah.
little bit. You
until
get like
until they wise up.
yeah, well you get it for like 3 months, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
Check it out if you got
I
Spectrum.
wonder if the Royal Rumble is on there.
Yeah,
If
it has to be
the
new
well,
one.
it just aired.
But it's like been a week, right?
Well, it aired Sunday. What's
been
today?
a
Wednesday.
while.
It's been a while.
Maybe, I don't know.
Let's find out.
We can find out.
We'll come back.
Okay. But yeah, like it. I think that's very true. Where the expectation has always been that Netflix is going to be an ad-free service,
Yeah.
and the fact that you're retroactively adding this negative thing to it for a little cheaper after you've spent years and years upping the prices and canceling a lot of stuff that people enjoy.
I mean,
It's not the best.
every change that they've made so far has been negative. It's
Pretty
been a
much.
drawback. It's
Yeah,
been things.
pretty much.
It's been bad press.
I saw a tweet, or I think an article, maybe even, because they're the same thing, to the effect of like, I can't believe how quickly Netflix has switched from being like the hero of streaming services to like the absolute villain.
Yeah.
Like it's strange how quickly that turn has happened,
Yeah.
and I gotta agree, it is one of the weakest streaming services
Yep.
now.
It's fascinating.
Other than like the exclusives that you can only watch on Netflix,
Yeah.
I'm talking like the Stranger Things,
Right.
or even like weird one-off things like the Hateful Eight, like long
Like the
extended
yeah.
versions. I don't care about much anything else that's on there.
Yeah. It's just not. They just don't have.
Iron Chef. I saw the new Iron Chef on there, which was good.
With the shows like Stranger Things, I mean, honestly, when I think about it, what else? What else is there? What else event TV does Netflix have?
Well, they have been trying, obviously, with their like Academy Award bait content.
Yeah, but they haven't been producing good enough movies.
Well, I haven't watched it yet. I still want to. All Quiet on the Western Front. It's getting a lot of buzz.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
And like historically, they've been aiming for the Oscars.
They've been trying
for
for
a long
years.
time.
Well,
Well,
you
Roma-
should have
Roma did
submitted.
it.
You should. Yeah, right. You should have submitted. Fuck, what was that Idris Elba movie?
Beasts of No Nation. Yeah,
Should have submitted that.
Beasts of No Burden.
Beasts of No Burden.
The
pizza burden.
Your pizza burning.
You should have submitted that. Idris Elba deserved an Oscar nomination for
Oh,
that
yeah,
movie.
for sure.
So, anyway.
Well, Pinocchio as well.
Pinocchio, that's right.
Very good on Netflix. But again, like all of these are movies that I would have gone out to see.
Yeah, and I was
on
just
their
about
own.
to say, at some point, like, I mean, unless they just live and die on Netflix, which, if that's what it is, hey, listen, I'll figure out a way to watch those movies, okay?
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying, there's ways. There's back alleyways. There are pirates out there. I'm
There-
not saying that I would pirate a thing. I'm just
Right.
saying that there are
They exist.
pirates
Yeah.
out there. There
Pirates
are
exist.
pirates. And there's ways.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So
They're Backstreet Boys.
there are Backstreet Boys.
All right.
who have bootleg versions. They're back.
Yeah.
The Backstreet Boys are back with bootlegs.
Can I download Kazaa?
Of course you can.
Okay.
I don't know why you haven't done that already.
The Pirate Bay, if you will.
Pirate Bay.
Not that we would use any of
It's
these
not
services.
an actual. It's a literal place. It's the
Right, right.
Pirate Bay.
Sure.
You know, we're not talking about a website where you go to
Right.
to get these things.
It's in Barbados.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
So the I don't know. I don't know what the future of Netflix holds, but I can tell you this. It's always darkest before the dawn.
Do you think that Blockbuster's coming back? Is that what's going to happen?
I mean, I feel like maybe they're going the way of Blockbuster.
Yeah.
There's just too many options, man. There's just too many good options.
And others doing it better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at this point, I was talking to Salfi about it, actually. Like, why would you... Back in the day, Netflix was the king. So when you wanted to put something on streaming, you had to cut a deal with Netflix. That
Sure.
was it. But now, you got Peacock.
Oh, yeah.
You got Disney Plus. You got
Tubi.
Hulu. You got fucking Tubi. Yeah. You don't... Hey, if you're Insane Clown Posse,
Yeah.
you don't have to upload your movie to Netflix anymore. You got Tubi.
Yeah.
Okay, it's right there.
Or just broadcast it on MeTV.
Yeah.
Somehow.
You got HBO Max, right?
Yeah.
You got all these other options. Netflix just isn't the king anymore.
Sure.
Netflix is fighting for a spot, and when you do this kind of shit, like HBO Max, either HBO Max or no, it was HBO Max. Just did a quiet price hike.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even fucking make news
Yeah.
because it was like, okay, what am I gonna do? Not watch HBO Max? You know, what
I
I mean?
need my Turner Classic Movies.
Yeah, I mean, HBO Max already has their bag of issues that we've already talked about, but
Sure.
am I gonna not watch HBO Max? I'm not. Unless HBO Max pulls some Netflix shit, there's no way I'm not having HBO Max forever. I love it. I love it.
They are sitting back and relishing this news.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Every other streamer, I'm sure, is sitting back and going,
Yeah, I mean, they got to be thinking like,
Stupid.
what's next? What are they gonna do? What is
Yeah.
the plan? What is the plan? And that, I guess, I leave it to you guys, and I leave it to Netflix. What is the plan? What is
Sure.
next? What are you trying to accomplish with this?
Yeah.
Because if it's viewership, it's just gonna get struck in half. If it's accounts paid, do you really think kicking people off is gonna make people pay for accounts? Do you really think your content is good enough for people to go, oh no, I have to pay for my own my own Netflix now?
it's a risky move.
It's risky.
We'll see how it works out for him.
Yeah, we will. We'll be on that. We'll be on that quarterly call. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
All right,
So, Lashley.
Bobby Lashley.
We have the whole James Gunn situation. This time, not about his social media habits,
Yeah, good for him.
which is
finally.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
But as you said, he is the co-CEO of DC Studios. And he has a plan. And this is our first time hearing of the plan for DC Studios moving forward, which includes animated movies, includes live action movies, includes TV shows, etc., etc.
Yeah. The biggest departure, I think, is the fact that they want everything to be connected.
Yes. And we assume this is going to be sort of like their first entry in their own MCU-esque thing.
But even more connected than the MCU, because the MCU does things, but like the Avengers video game is not connected to the movies, right?
Right.
It's a little outside of.
With a caveat, though, because he's also saying that there are other things that will continue to exist outside of the DC universe.
But they will be explicitly stated as like the same way that Star Wars does, like Star
Right.
Wars Legends.
Yes.
They'd be like, that's that bullshit.
Yeah. DC Expanded Universe is what it's called.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So things like the Justice League and Aquaman will be in that cubby, you know?
Yeah.
And on top of that, obviously, standalone universes such as the Batman and the Joker.
Yeah.
No, just Joker, excuse me.
Yeah.
Will
Joker.
continue to live on in their own separate things.
Yeah.
However, apparently the first line of projects that he's going to be doing, that they will be doing collectively as a studio, is going to be God and monsters, apparently.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're calling this like phase, right? That's like
Right.
the overarching.
It is their phase. I'm using air quotes if you can't see me right now.
I don't know. You wouldn't be able to see him. You should be watching it.
You
on
should be
YouTube.
watching. Chapter 1 is God and monsters.
Yeah.
So that will include things such as creature. By the way, this is from Axios. Creature Commandos would be an animated series of military superhumans written by Gunn himself. He said characters could appear in both animated and live action projects.
He's writing a lot of it.
Yeah, which isn't a bad thing. I just hope it doesn't all end up sounding the same.
Yeah.
But I think
same
he's
tone.
yeah, I think he's, with it enough to know that that would be a bad thing.
I think he is, but I don't know if he's. No, I shouldn't say talented enough.
I knew you were going to say talented. I was going to go.
He is, but I don't want to say that.
Yeah.
That's not what I mean. But I think that like, it's in the same way that like Joss Whedon, God rest his soul, couldn't help himself from like putting his Whedonisms in
Sure.
anything that he touched.
Everything is
regardless
Buffy.
of tone. Yeah. I think that James Gunn is that same way.
Yeah. There's
It's hard to imagine him not doing like a James Gunn movie.
Sure. Yeah. A little quippy, a little dark.
Yeah.
Graphic and funny. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But okay. He has Waller, which will be a spinoff of the series to HBO Max. To HBO Max's Peacemaker. So it's going to be in that same. So I guess that confirms Peacemaker is canonically part of the new DC.
Yeah.
universe.
I mean, it's going to be Viola Davis, and,
Right.
People from Peacemaker,
Yeah.
or cast members from Peacemaker,
Right.
rather.
Yeah.
Characters. Jesus, I don't know.
People,
Guys
Characters.
from the thing.
guys and gals.
Guys and gals. Gods and monsters.
And then we have Superman Legacy, which will bring the classic superhero back with a new movie focused on his upbringing on Earth, as well as his heritage from the planet Krypton, per the New York Times. The film, which Gunn calls the true beginning of the DCU, is slated to release on July 11th, 2025. So the start of this is in 2025.
That one is really weird to me.
Yeah.
Because first of all, he said he's still writing it.
Right.
Can you imagine having a deadline like that? Like you have to have this entire production done by 2025, and he's still writing it.
Right.
Oh my God, the anxiety that I would have
2025.
writing a thing.
2025 seems like a long time,
But
it's not. For a movie, especially a Superman movie.
he's got to be done writing that within like the next like couple of months.
Yeah,
so that they
for
can
sure.
get the production going.
Yeah.
Because I wonder if they've even cast Superman.
Apparently they haven't.
How can you? You haven't even finished writing it, so you
Well,
don't even
and-
know how you need to characterize it.
That was his entire, like, because, I joked about his social media presence, but he is still, super hyperactive on social media.
Yeah.
So I think people were asking about casting for different characters, and he's like, it's not going to happen until I've written the thing. And once it's written, we're going to bring a bunch of people in
Yeah.
and have them try it out. And if they don't work, they don't work. But if they do, they do. And that's pretty much that.
I wish I could get paid to just sit around like just tinkering with ideas.
Yeah, right. Sounds nice.
Oh God.
Not stressful
At
at
this
all.
point, like I would just love to just be a writer.
Hey, I know something about that.
We should write a thing.
You don't want this shit.
I think if
You don't
we
want
got-
none of this
If
shit.
we got paid to do it,
Oh, sure.
I mean, not writing for fucking, you know what?
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Writing for shit that we want to write for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have a project that we can write a little bit on coming forward. One of your own.
My project?
Yeah.
Would you want to help with that?
Yeah. I expected to.
Well, yeah, of course I was going to obviously come to you, but I didn't know if you wanted to like really.
Yeah.
All right, then, yeah.
I can't not. As a writer, I can't help but tinker with something I will perform.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Oh, that. I thought you were talking about something else. Of course that. You're going to work on that.
I love how vague we're being. Everyone.
I was
Yes.
talking about the show that I was.
Oh, well, yeah. No, I definitely want in on that, too.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've already talked about your concept album, right?
I talked about the album.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked about
You
the
did. Yeah.
So yeah. Actually, I added some more parts to that. So
Okay.
we'll talk about that anyway.
Any Hooser. Yes, it would be fun to do that. And I'm sure he's having a blast. Otherwise, why would he do it? Next, we have Lanterns, which will be an HBO TV series that focuses on Green Lantern heroes Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, not of The Daily Show. Gunn said the series will tie into the bigger DCU story. So, again, tying everything together. Then is The Authority, which will be a big movie, in quotes, based on characters who want to fix the world by any means necessary, Gunn said, describing it as a very different look at superheroes. So I get the feeling that's more of like a Men in Black style thing, but having it being a bit more sinister.
Yeah.
You know, like kind of like dark Black Ops style, like, you know, the anti-superhero thing that has been going on for the past like 15 years. And we have Paradise Lost, which will be a Game of Thrones style TV series based around an all-female island, or the all-female island, Themyscira. I just have a hard time pronouncing it. Where Wonder Woman was born. The Brave and the Bold is a new Batman movie that will feature Bruce Wayne and Damian Wayne, Batman's young killer son, as Robin.
Young killer.
According
That's
to
how he's
Gunn.
described in
It
this
is.
article?
Young killer son.
All right.
Booster Gold is an HBO Max series that will be feature a loser from the future who comes back to save the day. Then we have a Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, sci-fi epic. Something I'm excited for is a Swamp Thing, very dark, quote, very dark horror story that takes place outside of the rest of the DCU, but will feed into the rebooted DC Universe story. Which I don't know how they're going to do that, but...
Well, he kind of said it in the video. He was like, it's not really going to feed into the rest of it. Like, it's going to be connected somehow, but it's going to be kind of disconnected. So I imagine it's going to be kind of one of those things where it's like, people will talk about him like, oh, did you hear about the
creep in the swamps?
Yeah, people will be like, that ain't real. That didn't actually happen. Like, one of those things where they kind of reference him or whatever.
Yeah. He's not going to show up for, like, a
I don't
Justice
think he's
League.
gonna be a part of, like, holy shit, he's real.
Yeah.
Like the Loch Ness Monster.
He does exist.
That was it, right? That was the last thing that he announced.
Yeah, other than that, it's just, you know, saying that Batman 2 is still happening, Flash is happening, Blue Beetle's happening, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom's happening still.
Yeah.
And how excited he is for all those projects that he inherited.
Yeah.
And
Booster Gold seems pretty fun.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited about that. I think that's a fun... Obviously, I've never read a Booster Gold comic, but
Right.
it sounds like they could do some fun stuff. It sounds... The concept is funny. A loser goes back in time with powers to change the perception of him.
More than any of these, that sounds like a James Gunn movie.
Yeah. That sounds like the one that, like, at the very least, he'll crush that one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to get somebody who cares so much about comics, who cares so much about the identity of these comics and these
storytelling.
Yeah.
Canon.
Yeah. So, I mean, DC made a really good decision by getting James Gunn and the other guy, I forgot his name. I don't know much about the other dude who's the co-CEO. So, apologies. I just don't know much about him.
He's more of a producer type, kind of behind the scenes a bit more.
Yeah. They made a good decision by getting these two guys into the fold to helm this next phase, I guess, in the DC universe. I still believe
Peter Safran.
I still believe that DC would have been better off producing one-off movies like Matt Reeves' Batman, like Joker, because I think that it opens them up to do more. And I think it opens them up to do more, and I think that it opens them up to be different from the Marvel universe.
Sure.
I mean, just because, and this is the problem that a lot of people ran into in like the mid 2000s when the MCU started getting really big, was all these studios going, oh, we need our own universe. So then that's when like
the Universal Dark Universe.
Yeah, you got that, and then you got like the Fast universe where they're like, these movies need to be connected, and we need to do all these other sub movies, and it's like, you don't have to
Fast
do
10
that.
poster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, when that trailer pops, whew, I want to just dedicate a whole episode to just that
Breaking
trailer.
down the trailer.
Yeah,
of
every
Fast 10.
fucking second of
Yeah.
that trailer. But I think that, I still maintain this. I just don't think that it's necessary for every movie studio to have their cinematic universe. It just doesn't. I think that the one-off movies from DC have proven that you can just make these movies,
Sure.
and that be fine. They just be a studio producing these one-off stories. Be that as it may, that's not how it's going to go.
Well, it
doesn't matter.
sounds like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too.
Right.
Because, according to this, there will be those one-off stories. There will be those, auteur director kind of, a little deeper, a little darker maybe pieces of this entire thing. But then there will entirely be this TV, movie, video game universe that will all tie in together as well.
See, I don't like that.
Okay.
I want you to do one or the other.
Ah.
I would prefer that Robert Pattinson's Batman be the Batman,
Yeah.
instead of him being like this one-off thing, and then there is the Batman that we're using for our main story. I don't like that. I don't like this is our main story, and then these are like these offshoot like legends, and like for Star Wars it works because there are so many. It's an entire literal galaxy of stories. So if somebody is telling a legend about Jarrus Kanan or some random Jedi or
Shut up,
something,
nerd. Sorry, it just came out of me. I don't know what happened.
yeah, you just couldn't. It was like, shut up. Like that to me works better in that context.
Yeah.
Than to be like these two guys who helm, who, like it.
They're the same guy, but they're not.
Yeah, that just doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
So I don't. I'm not a fan of that. We'll see what they do with like the main heroes, because there's no plans for a Wonder Woman movie.
Right.
They didn't say that Gal Gadot is fired or unhired, as they said that Henry Cavill was.
Right.
He just wasn't hired for anything. He wasn't fired.
Right.
Dude, can you imagine your job being like, listen, you're not fired. We're just not
You're not
hiring you
hired.
for anything else.
You're no longer hired.
no longer hired.
Yeah.
So you can't be mad at us. You can't be mad at us because
Yeah.
we didn't fire you.
For
were unhired.
I will say for James Gunn's part, and I'm not sure if this is just covering his own ass or not, but he did say like the people who were running DC before really dicked him around. Like
Yeah.
I think he literally said that they dicked him around,
Yeah.
and he didn't like how they treated him, and they put him in a really tough spot.
Oh, when he did the Suicide Squad?
Who?
Wait, are you talking about Henry Cavill or?
Henry Cavill.
Oh,
yeah.
Henry. Okay,
With,
sorry.
with telling him that you are going to be Superman again. We
Well,
have that
that-
locked down.
dude, that coupled with the Black Adam thing and with The Rock,
Right.
like all of that, all those politics and
Yeah.
pettiness and emotions and stuff like that was really. If I was Henry Cavill, I mean, I understand that this is an iconic character, but you already played him in a couple of movies. Like, you are our Superman, dude. Like, it's fine. You can ride off into the sunset. We got Brandon Routh. We got Christopher Reeves. We got you. We got... That's it, right? Who else has played him in a movie? Who else has played him in a movie?
Yeah, I guess.
So it's like you're in the canon of super guys. Super guys.
Super guys.
Superman.
Super dudes.
Super brothers.
Yeah.
You're in the canon of Superman. You are our generation.
Well,
Superman.
not Super Brothers.
Not Super Brother. Oh yeah. I mean, God forbid there be a
Black Superman.
But
good to
you
get
are
one in.
in the canon of Superman. And I think that it's for him. It's like, all right, fuck it, man. Y'all do whatever you
Yeah.
want. I did what I needed to do with this story.
Taking my ball and I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just hate that he had to. I don't know how much he gave up of The Witcher to do Superman, because everyone's saying like, oh, it sucks that he gave up The Witcher to do Superman, and we don't know the inner workings of those contracts.
No,
so it's hard to say that he gave up The Witcher to
There's-
do Superman.
There's that whole rumor that he was going to leave anyway.
Yeah.
He was butting heads with the creative leads on that.
Yeah.
Saying it wasn't faithful enough to the books and,
Yeah.
he's a big nerd, so respect.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. I overall, how do you feel about these announcements, other than being conflicted about it not being a non-MCU-esque thing? What do you think about the projects announced? Like, do you think this is a good start? Do you think they should just throw it in the garbage and start over? Or
to me,
what?
I like the announcements. I'm not a huge DC guy. Even when I was a kid,
Yeah.
I was always a Marvel kid. The comics that I had were all Marvel comics. When I would read Wizard magazine, I only cared about Marvel comics. I didn't read anything about DC, so I wasn't like a huge DC kid.
Other than Batman, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Batman, I mean,
It's always the one exception.
it really is.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's just...
Because he's the coolest.
He's the coolest.
Yeah.
So when I look at this slate of movies and TV shows that they've announced, I look at it and I say I put a lot of trust into James Gunn, because I do think he's a really good filmmaker, really think he's a good writer, good director. So that stuff that he wants to do, I'm on board with.
Yeah.
So like as a Marvel kid, for instance, when they announced the Iron Man movie and they announced Robert Downey Jr., like people who are more into the Hollywood machine were like, oh no, Robert Downey Jr., this guy, you can't even insure this guy.
Sure.
But for me, all I knew about Robert Downey Jr. was that like he fucking liked to party.
Yeah.
And he was one of my favorite actors. Like he
Sure,
was doing
yeah.
movies where you're like, this guy played Charlie Chaplin. You're like, he got an Oscar nomination for playing Charlie Chaplin. Like
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. was the shit.
It's
Even
great.
before, and I'm not trying to like revisionist history this thing.
Uh-huh.
I just really liked him as an actor.
Yeah, of course.
And then they announced that he was going to play Iron Man. And I was like, that's fucking
Perfect.
sick.
It's
Yeah.
perfect.
It's perfect casting.
Yeah.
It's perfect. I don't know how anybody even had a problem with it
Yeah.
from the jump.
He's actor Tony Stark.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I bring that up because if James Gunn is putting his faith into Swamp Thing, Booster Gold, Blue Beetle, and all these other like niche kind of heroes, he obviously has a lot of faith in those stories.
Yeah.
And I have faith in him.
Sure.
So I think that this is a good place to go.
Yeah.
I think it's better than going, all right, we're going to restart this thing and we're going to do the Justice League again and we're going to do Wonder Woman again and we're going to do Green Lantern again and yada, yada, so on and so forth. It's better to go in this direction.
Yeah.
So far, I'm on board.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like he definitely has a panache with the underdog stories that he tells. And I think there are a lot of lesser-known DC characters that he can really make sing, as he did with the Guardians of the Galaxy, for instance. However, I am questioning a little bit as far as what he can do with some of the stalwart, bigger characters like a Batman, like a Superman, you know?
Yeah.
I think he can nail Green Lantern because it's an ensemble thing, and you know he seems very adept at doing those. But when it comes to the singular big hero thing, I don't know how that's going to work out. And again, that's not assuming he's going to direct and write any of these, but you know, as the lead, I hope he can find the right person for those projects.
Yeah. Interesting, though, because that would be like hiring James Gunn to do like the new Captain America movie or
Right.
like the new, Hulk movie or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the big name characters that everybody knows and loves.
Sure.
That's interesting. Yeah, I could. I see.
Yeah.
What, yeah.
There's still a
I see the
question.
concern. I see the concern.
There's still a question there, and especially as this high of a position in this sort of, CEO status, which is very new for him.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's an incredible veteran of this industry and this specific sect of movie making and creative. But we'll see if he has that sort of leadership position down packed in a couple of years when Superman comes out.
Right.
If he gets the right people, he's able to hire the right people, recruit the right people, and green light the right projects. I think it's going to be very telling by the time we get to 2025 when we're seeing, hopefully, a new Superman.
I'm saying it right now. There's no way on God's green earth that Superman comes out July 11th, 2025. There's no way. I would stake my life on it.
Yeah.
There's no way that movie comes out when they've announced it.
It's going to be tough.
No fucking
It's going to be tough. It's gonna be tough.
So
I
mark this down. July 11th, 2025. No fucking way. That
Yeah,
movie's
yeah.
getting pushed at least 6 months.
I'm
Maybe
gonna-
a year.
Look, I'm gonna say he sticks it. And I'm gonna say he sticks it because he has to.
Okay. All right. We'll
Yeah.
come back to this in 2 years.
Yeah. He used to work for like Trauma Pictures, you know, where they had nothing, no budget, and they just made stuff
Yeah.
for funsies.
Well, now he ain't making shit for funsies.
I
He's
know.
making shit for an entire generation of people who will hate his guts.
But I'm saying the grit it takes to make movies that, you know, like 1,000 people are gonna watch ever. I think he's got it.
Yeah.
I think he can do it. I believe in him.
I don't think he can.
And the maker of
I don't think
Slither.
anybody can. I don't think anybody can.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right. I think we got it.
We got it. Yeah.
I think we got it.
We got it.
I think we got it.
It was the
It's
greatest
okay.
in the world.
It was a great episode, but I think it's over.
The biggest episode in the world.
It's big.
Huge.
Huge. But before we can get out of here, you know what we got to do. 2 things. Number 1, it's the cheers of the week. So, Obi, what you got for me, baby?
My cheers of the week, kind of suitably, is for Marvel Snap.
Snap.
If you don't know, Marvel Snap is a digital card game that is on your phone.
No. Okay. All right. You know what? Go ahead.
It's full of microtransactions.
Oh, God.
It is, you know, I will say it's not pay to win because it's all of those transactions are either for buying, you know, you can buy new cards. That's true, but you don't need to. You earn cards on your own.
We're not getting paid for this. I hope you know that.
I know. I'm sorry. This one's to World of Tanks. No, it. You know, I've been listening to some podcasts, other gaming podcasts. I'm sorry to say.
Ugh,
I know. I won't name them. Don't worry.
I don't even know you anymore.
There's no competition. But they were going on and on about how this little mobile card game was so addictive and so much fun. I'm like, it can't be. First of all, I'm not that big into card games, so you know, whatever. I'm a Marvel fan, sure. But the more and more they talked about it, they evangelized about it, and I'm like, all right, I'll give it a try. It's free, right? It's free.
Yeah.
So I download it, and lo and behold, since then, been logging on basically every single day to get more credits. You get a daily, you know, credit, little pinch of credits
Pathetic.
every time you log in.
Unbelievable.
But it is just it's such a fun entry level card game to play while you're pooping. Like it is just it's great. And it truly is addictive, but in the best way, because you're constantly playing against other people online, and you know
Were you playing against real people?
you are playing against real people.
Okay.
So, you know, there's that element to it of competitiveness, and it has a lot of like. All the cards are very much like old school Marvel trading cards, basically.
Yeah.
So all of your attributes have a lot to do with your character, like and lore that you know about, which is fun. And you put them on 3 different spaces that change out every game, which are like Marvel canon spaces that have to do with they're like different locations in the Marvel universes. I mean, it's so much fun. And then you upgrade your cards by, you know, you can make them 3D and break the frame and holographic and like all this stuff.
Nerd.
I know.
Yeah.
I know how it sounds. Listen, I know how it sounds. And you can very well go, boring. I'm not going to try it.
I didn't say boring. I said nerd.
It is very nerdy. Nerd! But the barrier for entry is very low. I'm not a card game fan, but this one is really doing it for me. It's a lot of fun. It's really engaging, and it's something that I find myself just, you know, spooling up every time I have like a spare 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know?
All
So
right.
it's a good time.
I haven't played a mobile game in literally, I mean, at least 7-8 years.
Yeah.
Like the last mobile game I played was probably they put Final Fantasy VII on in the.
Oh yeah.
That was probably the last thing I
Yeah.
played as a
They
mobile
ported
game.
it to mobile.
And even that, I was like, this thing's killing my battery. I'm not gonna.
Your phone gets really hot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not worth it.
No.
But you make a compelling argument. for
I'll
this
show
game.
it to you. I'll show it to you
did,
right
yeah,
after.
I want to see it. Yeah, I need
Okay.
to see it before I'm
Yeah,
gonna. Yeah.
It's a good game. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. You know, obviously, if you're susceptible to gambling problems, don't play it. Or if you're a child, I don't recommend you play it because you can spend all of your parents' money.
Yeah.
But it's a good time. It's fun, and I think they've made a really compelling online competitive mobile game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I had two in mind, but I think I'm going to go with the one that I alluded to earlier.
Sure.
Which is my Cheers of the Week going to the Coen brothers.
I thought you were just going for "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?"
No, I was thinking about that, but I thought I'm going to expand it a little bit and just
Okay.
go with the Coen brothers.
Okay.
Because the reason is how good they are.
You have to pick a brother. Can't have both.
Okay, I can pick a brother, and I'm going with Joel because Joel directed "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?"
That's fair.
I'm not breaking any new ground. I'm not saying anything new when I sing the praises of the Coen brothers, but every time that you go back and you watch one of their movies from like before, you just kind of really appreciate their mastery, you know? And when we talk about like our favorite directors, I know for me, I always think of like Nolan, Tarantino, Spielberg, Denis, but I never bring up the Coen brothers, but they have directed some of my favorite movies
Sure, yeah.
ever. Like when people ask me for like my top 10 list, at least Big Lebowski's in there, No Country for Old Men, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou was not in my top 10, but like I rewatched it as I talked about.
You start
and
sneaking in.
It's
Yeah.
such a good
Yeah.
movie. It's so good.
Yep.
It's so good. Every scene. I started it and I didn't remember how quickly it gets into everything. It doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Like the minute the movie opens, there's already a song in the beginning of the movie that they're like escaping from the chain gang that they're on, and then the movie just doesn't stop
Just goes,
until
yeah.
the very end. Like it's so
Yeah.
good. And all of their movies are like that.
Yeah.
Nonstop. Fantastic. Again, like I said, I know. Wow. Unreal.
Speaking of the Coens, it sounded like a silent shotgun.
I guess I'll shut up. Fine.
She's allergic to your bullshit.
Yeah. No, I just like I said, I'm not saying anything new here, but
Yeah.
I just wanted to show my appreciation for this. It's just like they're just so good. They're
Yeah.
just so good. So
Yeah. If you have, speaking of Netflix, if you haven't watched The Ballad of Buster Scruggs,
I have. I did because you told me to, and it's
Yeah,
incredible.
it's great,
And
right?
so whoever, I think it was your Cheers when it came out.
way back when,
Yeah.
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 Wow, that sounds about right. Yeah,
Yes. So good. And Tim Blake is in that,
he is.
who was also in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yes,
Plays Delmar.
and in the Watchmen TV show,
That's
which has
right.
nothing to do with the Coens, but you know, he's a great actor.
He is a
needs
great
to,
actor.
He needs to be in
He's
more stuff.
fantastic.
Yeah.
He does need
Yeah.
to be in more stuff.
Yeah.
All right. One last thing we got to do before we get out of here, and that is review these brewskis. So, Obi, you want to tell the people what you thought of the Cosmic Crown from the Cigar City Brewing Company.
Well, I've been chugging this one, so
Yeah, we've been kind of running through this shit.
think you can tell what I think about it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I really like it. It's sweet. It is strong. Like you can taste the alcohol, but not to an overpowering like liquor-like level where it's uncomfortable. Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed this. I think I'm gonna give it a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 5, especially for being like a Publix available 6-pack pickup.
Yeah.
I think you can do much worse.
I think sometimes I go back and forth between like the merit of doing beers from companies that we can get at the grocery store.
Sure.
But if we're doing this and we're trying to like, guide people into like what we think is good and like stuff that's like readily available.
Yeah.
If you can get your hands on this, I suggest you buy it because I think it's fantastic. I agree with you. I think it's 5 out of 6. I think it's really good. Nice caramel notes, kind of bready. There's a booziness to it, but it's not overpowering to the point that you're like, ugh, Jesus,
A little touch of that the Galaxy hops in there.
Yeah.
Just dance on your tongue a little.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice.
So I'm kind of surprised. I don't know how new the Cosmic Crown is. I'm kind of surprised we haven't had this one before. But yeah, I think it's great. Cigar City, whether or not they're an independent brewery, they're still doing some really cool shit.
Yeah.
And they'll always have a place right here, as I know.
Of course.
Right here.
Yeah.
So, bring it on, Cigar City. Keep doing the great things that you're doing.
Yeah.
So a unanimous 5 out of 6 for the
6.
Cosmic Crown. You think we got it?
I know we got it.
Well, then let's get the fuck out of here. This has been the One Beer In podcast for myself, Marco Dupa, for Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Yeah, boy.
Thank you guys for listening. Drink delicious beer and have yourself a beautiful evening.
We love you.
By the way, that's how I signed off at the Audubon Market thing. I used the podcast sign.
Nice.
Lost to be found.